Welcome to a very special episode.
Yes, you are now witness. Well, not actually witness. You're listening. You're a listening witness to the movie that apparently started this whole freaking thing.
Yeah. Because I made an off comment like, yeah, so Biollante is just this story about the scientist who puts his daughter into a flower. And then he's just like, give me the Godzilla blood! And this led to us reading the plots to several different movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just decided to drop a whole bunch of money on the Showa era.
You gotta start at the beginning.
And then we were just like, well,
I mean, you gotta make this investment worth something.
I mean, we've got them all now, except at the time I did not have the anime, nor did I have 84.
Yeah.
But I did have this one. This is actually I think the first one that I owned. I think Aaron got it for me for Christmas or something one year. And it came with 2 other movies that were garbage.
Great.
But we're not gonna watch those. We're gonna watch big old flower.
Big old Biollante.
Big old crocodile flower. We'll be back in like 2 hours.
Woo.
Rated PG for typical Godzilla violence.
And then we open on people stealing the DG cells and starting a gunfight.
Typical Godzilla violence.
The only gunfight I have ever seen in a Godzilla movie.
I mean,
Typical Godzilla violence.
There was that one in the Showa era where they were using the dildo guns.
Yeah, no, but like this was just straight
and the
up.
Men in Brown were there.
Yeah, but still, this was like. I would consider that typical Godzilla violence. Human on human shooting each other is not typical Godzilla violence.
I guess.
Just saying. And to be honest, a whole lot of not typical Godzilla things took place in this movie. So, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so we open with the aftermath of Godzilla ruining Tokyo.
I mean, it's been 5 years since the release, so they had to show you the recap of the last one.
It's been 5 years since.
Yeah, this was copyrighted 89.
Damn. All right.
At least that's what it said at the end. I don't know why they'd say it otherwise. But...
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad they took their time.
Well, you know, they were trying to pretend that Godzilla was dead in a volcano.
Sure.
And then like, oh man, that was dumb.
Yeah. So they find like a slab of Godzilla jerky. And they're like, we have the DG cells. We can finish the Dark Gundam.
So their plan was to sell the DG cells to this company out in the desert so they could crossbreed wheat with something.
A cactus.
So wheat would grow in the desert.
But the desert people sent their own assassin to shoot the guys that did a good job of shooting the other guys and steals the DG cells, which then leads to a bomb going off at some point. So we cut to Sarabia whatever place, and this Japanese guy and his daughter are like getting along. And
she climbs up the most awkward looking stairs.
I was hoping she would just fall down them. That would be her death. I would have laughed. But don't worry, there was a lot to laugh at in this movie. And so the entire complex shakes, and I was like, is that Godzilla? But no, it's a bomb.
Killing exactly one person.
Yes. As scientists run screaming out of the building carrying test tubes. Racks of test tubes.
You gotta protect them,
samples?
Yeah.
I'm gonna protect all... No, I can't make that joke yet. We're not there yet. Anyway, so He comes in, finds his daughter completely unscathed, but now dead.
The one casualty. Also some roses.
That too. So daughter dead 5 years later. Or at least we assume that's what it means, because there was only the number 5 and the rest of it was...
The rest of it was moon speak.
Indeed.
Probably 5 years later.
Moon runes. Yeah, so 5 years later, and this scientist man has brought in a psychic to talk to his flowers.
And they're like, so when did you want to start talking to plants? And he's just like, shut up.
Yeah. No,
I'm old. I'm weird.
I'm old. I'm weird. And I've been living here by myself for 5 years.
My daughter's not in the plant, I swear.
No, totally not. And then she can't seem to talk to the roses, so then they leave. And then she's like, oh no, I heard a voice as they're getting ready to leave.
And they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's time to leave. While they're being scoped out by 2 ridiculous... Like, the one guy's wearing, like, a super tight shirt, but, like, his pecs aren't, like, properly defined, and they're like... They're bordering on man boobs. It's very awkward, while he wears, like, a gold chain.
These are the... I'm guessing they're Americans. I think one was like John Lee or something like that.
Yeah, and the other one was some other generic name.
And then they're being spied on by the spy who stole the DG cells at the beginning.
It was fucking great. Because they're spying on him, and then it cuts to a car in the back, and that car is spying on them. So they're spies on spies. It's fucking stupid.
Oh, it's great.
And then we start dealing with the fact that the volcano that they yeeted Godzilla into, is now moving, because Godzilla is moving.
Yeah.
And they fly a helicopter over it. We
cut to the psychology place.
Yeah, they go back to the psionics center, and there's all these children, and they're all drawing.
And they're like, what did you dream about?
And they all hold up pictures of Godzilla. And we awkwardly pan from one to another as the Godzilla theme plays. And then they, like, fly a helicopter over the volcano. And she's like doing the mind thing. She's like saying, like, he's in there or whatever.
Something's moving.
Yeah, and then...
I think they just get a camera and they fight him.
Well, eventually there is a shot where they're like, he's not moving much, but he's in there, and we see Godzilla just moving around, and we're like, the fuck are you doing? So what they decide is that in order to defeat Godzilla... Apparently... Anyway. So they decide that in order to defeat Godzilla, they need to create... They're talking with this, like, bioweapons company that's like, we created a bacteria that breaks down crude oil. We can make a bacteria that breaks down nuclear waste. And that'll defeat Godzilla because Godzilla feeds on nuclear waste or radioactivity or whatever. But the problem is that we need the DG cells to
make it.
And they're like, well, we need a good scientist. We need many scientists.
Specifically one.
Yes, and it is the man who put his daughter into a bunch of roses. Who, I forgot, when he was going over to check on Psychic Lady, talking with the roses, he discusses how someone is trying to preserve the semen. Yes, you heard me right. The semen of Nobel Prize winners to
I think
keep them going.
I think the person doing that was the dad of who he was telling that to.
Yeah, because the dad of the lady is the one who runs the bacteria company.
Well, maybe he wanted to do that in his spare time. I don't fucking know.
I don't know either, but yeah. So So that just became we both died when that came up. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, I can implement this into this entire series. This is just it's gonna be about the Nobel Prize winning seaman.
Mm-hmm. And it certainly was.
Oh man, was it? So so for what something happens, and where he's keeping his daughter / Rose's like breaks.
So Godzilla shuffles around a little bit, and the volcano erupts.
Ah, yes.
And that shakes the lab.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Look, I'll come aboard this plan, but you gotta give me the DG cells first.
For a week.
I'm not gonna do anything crazy with them, I swear.
Totally not. Totally not gonna mix them with the Nobel Prize winner seaman
and my daughter.
And my daughter.
And my plant daughter.
And the roses.
Why would you even ask that? That's a weird question.
That's so weird. Just, man, don't even worry about it. I just want to look at him for a while. And then he proceeds to do exactly what he said he wouldn't do. And weird things start to happen, but we don't see them. I mean, they zoom in on the cellular level, so we pretend that things are happening.
And then we pan out, and there's the plant that's now stiff.
Sure.
Oh, it was very erect.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of semen involved.
A lot of it.
Anyway, gallons. Fucking damn it. And I mean, you had to feed on something. So.
Oh no.
This movie was amazing. For the like the KFC running gag was a bit forced. Like it didn't quite fit, so like I kind of forced it to fit.
Yeah.
This there was just so many natural opportunities to bring up the Nobel Prize winner's contribution to Biollante. So yeah. So this is clearly happening, and then I don't think anything of real importance took place, but after a while, the two American spies decide they're gonna break in and steal the information that they need.
Yeah, because that's just what you do.
I don't know what they were stealing, why they were stealing it. I can't remember. It was very weird.
Also, the third spy is there.
Yeah, the Sarabian spy shows up and starts shooting at them. Like, he takes out the power, even though it's the middle of the day. And then drops the silence pistol because fuck it. And
pulls out another one.
Pistol.
It's easier to just have a second gun than it is to reload.
That is true.
I mean, you only leave a few traces of yourself behind when you just throw your gun.
He was wearing biker gloves. It's fine.
Yeah, fingerless biker gloves.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't have fingerprints. Who knows? So
some guy got arrested because he was told, yeah, if you're gonna go burgle, wear gloves, and he's just like, I don't understand. Let me just fingerless gloves work, right?
Yeah, no, totally.
And then they caught him immediately.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so as this gunfight is going on, it apparently wakes up Biollante, who then proceeds to strangle one guy, and
the other guy jumps out the window.
Yeah, and then Sarabian spy gets grappled, and he pulls out a knife and cuts off part of it, and then the cops show up, and they're like, the fuck happened here?
Is this what you've been doing with the cells?
Well,
and the semen?
The cops don't ask about that. Everyone else involved is like, are you serious? This is what you were doing? And he's like, well, I wanted to make a super plant. And it's like,
I'm not crazy.
You're crazy.
I can still be part of this team. I'm a team player.
Totally. I'm doing this for the good of humanity. And then they're like, we need to go out to the lake. Why? Well, as it turns out, Biollante got really, really big. And then we finally get the name drop of Biollante.
Yeah, he just Look at that big road. It's Biollante.
Biollante. And it's like, Biollante? It's like, you fucking named it? You didn't name it after your daughter, you freak?
No, it's the name of the Norse flower or something like that. That was his reasoning.
It was fucking dumb. But yeah.
Except this flower has the spirit of a human. My daughter.
Not for long, unfortunately.
And all that Nobel Prize winning semen.
Unfortunately, the conglomeration of so many souls plus Godzilla overwhelmed the daughter, and thus it became a mindless monster.
I mean, it was just kind of hanging out for a while.
Yeah, it's just there, and then
it broke a dock, but I think that was because...
It didn't eat anybody.
I think it was because of it, like, scientist man was being threatened or something.
It was weird. But yeah, so...
Godzilla climbs out of the volcano. He's just like, yo, has somebody been putting my shit into flowers? I don't like that.
This is not the manila I asked for. I'm gonna go fix this. And so he comes out of the lake. No. I'm fairly certain he doesn't walk into the lake. He comes out of the lake somehow.
He comes out of the volcano, and he has to fight Super X and the
Navy. It. I forgot.
And we get the Super X theme, or the Super X2 theme, which is just like generic Superman theme.
It was bad. And like rookie pilot man is like in control of the situation. He becomes better later. And I forgot to mention we have this one agent guy. I don't know what the fuck he is, and the other guy, who's this wisecracking older dude who wears aviators and plays with the... We forgot about the Godzilla figure, like the 2-foot tall Godzilla figure that was in their office.
Is this the same guy who's doing the weightlifting with the world's worst looking weight?
Yes.
Okay, so...
This movie was fucking long, dude.
We need to explain the weight, because... So, it's
red, first off, which does it no favors. And it's like overly bulbous on one side.
And then on the other, there's 2 balls.
Yes. This man is weightlifting a dildo.
A very large one.
Yes.
Bright red.
Very concerning. He only does it for a couple reps before he probably realized how stupid it looked. And then, yeah, so... He's not that important, but he's kind of important. Oh, I forgot. Before Godzilla got woken up because the truck blew up the mountain.
Yeah,
so they had
that's right. So at some point they get this briefcase of the Godzilla cell.
It's the bacteria.
Yeah. They got the bacteria, and the dude's like, look, I have planted bombs all over this mountain. You are going to give me the bacteria, or I'm going to detonate them.
Yeah.
And I think we were laughing too hard at something to get that.
Yeah.
During the movie.
It was the absurdity of, is that the man who attacked the lab? And then he handed over these cylinders, and I think I must have made a joke about the semen again. And, oh no, it was because the Sarabian agent showed up. We were losing our minds because this plot was thickening in a very concerning way.
Yeah, so he gets the briefcase. He's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna go deactivate the bomb." The guy shows up, shoots him. He's like, "You double-crossed me?"
And it's like, we don't fucking know.
They're like, "No, we didn't do anything. Turn off the bombs." He's like, "I'm outie."
Yeah.
He drives away.
And then gets shot.
Yeah. And the truck flips. They're like, "Okay, shit, we need to get in there. We need to turn off this detonator." Doesn't work. Godzilla comes out of his hole.
Yes.
Super X2 shows up with the Superman theme.
It's got a reflector on it that makes Godzilla's beam green and fires it back at him poorly.
Yeah, at like 1,000 times power.
It was like 4 or 5.
No, they said 1,000.
That's dumb. It should have vaporized Godzilla.
No, Godzilla's got plot armor.
Mm,
And chunk. Many chunk.
yeah. But, yeah, so all that happened.
And Super X2 takes a bit of damage to its mirror thing, so it's like, well, we can't use that anymore.
And they start to fire missiles at Godzilla because that always works. And then it takes a beam directly to the side, and it's just like, no, we're done.
Get it out of there. It can't handle it.
We're done. And then they're like, Godzilla's heading for Osaka.
Yeah.
I don't remember if that was before or after his confrontation with Biollante. I think it was after.
Well, yeah, he's gonna have a confrontation first, and then
Because the first thing he decides to do is head after Biollante.
Because he senses himself in it.
Indeed. He's
and
like,
some Nobel Prize winners.
Yes, very many of them. So they tussle, and then Godzilla starts to shoot its breath at it, and like its heart. His heat beam, yes. And its heart its heart starts to like overload, and then it starts to like change, and then finally he just sets it on fire,
and then it becomes glowing particles and flies into the sky.
No, that doesn't actually happen.
Does it not?
No, it's just on fire.
It becomes glowing particles at some point.
It does, but that won't be for a bit.
I thought it did it earlier.
No, it didn't.
Oh.
It was just on fire.
Look, this movie's long.
Oh god, it is. And then the scientist man's like, no, Biollante cannot be defeated. It's invincible. And I'm like, it's on fire. Whatever.
He's never played Pokemon before.
Yeah, whatever. So Biollante burns up, so we assume. And they're like, we gotta stop Godzilla. Godzilla's heading for Osaka. What should we do? I know. Let's use the psychic.
Maybe she can hold him in place with her psychokinesis.
She tried to lift an entire Godzilla, and it went about as well as you'd expect.
She was lifting with her back brain and not her leg brains.
I don't even think lifting with her legs would have helped.
It might have.
It's a whole Godzilla. She just fucking collapsed. And I was like, yeah, I wonder why that didn't work. It's almost like psychic powers are bullshit. So Godzilla proceeds to Osaka and is just like, man, I'm gonna get that castle. I'm gonna get that castle. I'm gonna fuck that castle up. I swear on myself I'm gonna get that fucking castle. He doesn't get the castle.
No.
It's very disappointing.
No, Super X2 shows up again.
Yes. And they're like, we gotta trap it in some buildings and shoot it with the special bacteria missiles. And, yeah. And so apparently the two agents are part of this missile squad. And the sarcastic one is the one we focus on. And they all shoot... They use the reflector to, like, blow themselves up. Like, Super X2 is just dead after that. It takes a beam, it overloads, it blows up. And then they all shoot it with the missiles, and it doesn't do jack shit.
Two of them land. I think the rocket team was like 5 people.
It was 4 or 5, yeah.
So like 3 of them suck.
Oh yeah. But they do get
they get 2 in there, and then we cut back to the sarcastic guy, like, yeah, I guess we did it. And then we see Godzilla just moving in for the kill.
He just slides into frame. We're like, okay.
And they're like, hey, he's coming towards you. He's just like, yeah, whatever.
And he turns around and he's like, oh, hey, what's up? Fires a missile into Godzilla's mouth. And Godzilla's like, the fuck?
He's like, man, you gotta lay off of that. It's not good for you.
And then he smacks the building, it collapses, and kills Sarcastic Man.
Never to be seen again.
It was sad.
So,
we mourned him for about 2 seconds, and then we move on.
And then, like, 12 hours later, they're like, so why isn't Godzilla dead yet? Normally this happens between 8 and 12 hours. or 6 and 12 hours. Average time about 8.
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla's not dead yet.
What the fuck?
Maybe he's colder than the buildings around him.
Maybe he's cold-blooded. And they're like, well, then that means the bacteria can't do anything. And then young pilot man is like, what if we use Cobra's weather dominator? And they're like, it's just in the experimental phase. And then it zooms in on Pilot Man, and then suddenly there's like hundreds of tanks for no reason, and everyone's doing stuff.
And thus the weather was dominated.
Yes, they created a thunderstorm and attracted
the higher power of Manila.
And they attracted Godzilla to the thunderstorm in hopes of raising his body temperature to make the bacteria work. And they proceed to play Godzilla NES with the hex grid and all, as Godzilla proceeds to step on every landmine.
Yeah, they spaced him perfectly.
It was incredible. And Godzilla's kind of a moron. And then like it starts to have an effect, but not really.
I mean, Godzilla staggers a bit, and then
the attack helicopters come in, the flying Cobra commanders, and they fail miserably.
No, they get him to stagger.
A little bit.
Bounces.
I guess, but then he just like...
And then he just beams them, and they're gone.
And there's just so many decent explosions as they're like firing the maser cannons, and it's just not going well. And
then the psychic lady and other lady are there, and they're like, Biollante's not dead.
Biollante is coming, and I'm sitting there like, what? And then you were like... And then then Biollante rained down in golden particles from the sky, and I'm like, no, she didn't. And like mid-sentence, the sparkles start to fall, and I start to lose my mind because this is the dumbest shit. Sadly,
Biollante rains from the sky,
and all the semen just falling like particles, and I'm losing it, and sadly this is not the dumbest part.
And then Biollante springs up from underground.
Yeah, from underground, like it planted itself underground, and it sprouts from underground, and it's an alligator monster with all sorts of tentacles, and it's just the worst hentai.
It's got all the teeth.
Oh,
every tooth.
Yeah, the mouth is nothing but teeth. So they proceed to tussle. It's not that impressive.
Godzilla gets a vine through his hand.
Oh, that was rough. Just straight through the hand.
And then Biollante proceeds to try to eat Godzilla, and Godzilla's just like, no, you have too many teeth.
No, and then beams a hole through it. Like, most of the fight between Godzilla and Biollante is like a third of it is standing still and like panning shots.
Well, you see, Biollante is not actually the most mobile of
I
monsters.
would beg to differ. It moved, and it terrified me. I didn't realize it actually moved.
Anyway, so Godzilla's finally starting to feel the effects of the missiles that he got hit with.
Yes. And
he just goes and takes a dip.
Well, we forgot about a part where Biollante charges, and I mean charges. Like, there's green lightning, and like there's particle effects going on its mouth, and then proceeds to just spray green shit.
Yes, the acid.
Probably semen.
Nobel Prize winning semen.
Every bit of that goo could have gotten a Nobel Prize, but instead gave Godzilla a facial. So, yes, that spray happens, and that's when Biollante's like, I'ma eat you. And Godzilla's like, fuck you, you're not. And beams through it, and then beams through the bottom jaw, and then beams through the back of the head. And that's pretty much, Biollante at that point is just like, I'm fucking done. You fuckers are assholes. I'm done with this shit. I'm an abomination of a rose, a daughter, and so much semen it's not even funny. And then Godzilla's like, man, I'm feeling woozy. I don't feel great. I need to just go dip my head in some water, and just like face plants into the water. Like, it's the dumbest end to a fight, because Godzilla just face plants in the water like halfway, and then Biollante's just like,
my work here is done.
Fuck it, I'm done. Turns into golden sprinkles
and ascends
and starts to rise into the sky, and I'm like, this is dumb. And then as I'm thinking that, the face of the daughter appears in the sky. Oh my god. Oh my god. At that point, I was just done. But the movie wasn't.
No, it still had some more loose ends to wrap up.
Because Scientist Man goes on a rant about, like, you did such good work. You could do the bacteria stuff, and we can, like, solve so many problems. It's like, I'm not going to keep working on
Scientists are actually bad people. Who would have thought?
Look at that monster over there that's not there anymore, that showed the face of my daughter when it decided to disappear. Scientists made that. Scientists. Like me, but scientists. Scientists are the evil. And then he, after making this stupid ham-fisted speech, turns around and gets shot. Because the one loose thread that we never took care of was the goddamn Sarabian agent. We didn't even talk about how they got the fucking not the DG cells, how they got the bacteria back.
Well, I mean...
Do you not remember the encounter? You remember the encounter where he's like, what do you want?
Yeah! Yeah! So they go to this building.
Oh, it's such a weird, like... There was no segue to it. They were just there. They knew where to get it.
Well, I think they... So there's a scene where all the flights were canceled.
Yes.
And then they see the man driving away. And they're like, I wonder where he's going. And then I think they looked it up in a phone book. And they're like, oh, there's an office here with the name on it.
Yeah.
And then they go there, and there's a man pulling out the briefcase from
a safe.
And they're like, hey, that's what we want. He's like, what do you want?
And it's like, and we're like, the briefcase.
And they're like, we want that. And he's like, what do you want? Leave me alone.
We're just sitting there like, the briefcase. We're here for the briefcase. What do you want? And then they proceed to bonk him on the head.
He's wearing a hard hat, by the way.
Yes. So I don't understand why it works. And then they punch him out. Yeah. And that's how they get the bacteria. But anyway, yes, that was incredible. And incredibly dumb. There are so many just weird... Like, it's so hard to keep everything together. Because, like, it doesn't flow quite like Versus Megalon did. Like, Versus Megalon was a deluge of nonsense, but it flowed together. Like, each scene naturally progressed from the other. Biollante kind of jumps a bit.
There were a lot of threads to keep track of.
There was a lot going on. But anyway, so Scientist Man is shot by Sarabian agent, and Sarabian agent proceeds to try and run away. And then the one agent guy, he decides to chase after him, and he crashes the Jeep into the car, and they both flip over, and Agent Man is unscathed entirely, despite the fact that his Jeep flipped over and like crushed the top.
Well, you know, he was wearing his crash-proof vest.
Clearly, but Sarabian Man gets out, and he's taking some damage, but he's got a sniper rifle, and he proceeds to try and shoot, but he slips on mud. So Agent Man takes that opportunity to start fighting with him. And then they tussle for a bit. And then Sarabian Man gets some distance. Gets a sniper rifle. But as it turns out, he's sitting on one of the landmines that Godzilla was supposed to hit. And then just... Bzzz,
to the future! And he was dead.
And as it turns out, for whatever reason, young Pilot Man was just there, and he was the one who hit the button that zapped this man out of existence.
And then Godzilla, and then Lady shows up. I think it was Psychic Lady.
No, it's not the Psychic one.
Okay, yeah, the Psychic one doesn't talk. It's the other one.
No, she does, but we also forgot after her brain broke when she tried to lift Godzilla with her mind, she woke up and she's drawing on the shittiest computer tablet I've ever seen.
I gotta look at it. I gotta look something up real quick.
Okay.
Because I want to say what it is, but
she's drawing a picture of a rose because that's supposed to symbolize that Biollante is coming back. Anyway, yeah. So, Jesus, I remember everything's so far out of order. But yeah, so Agent Man and his girlfriend are talking, and he got like a letter to go study it in Massachusetts, and he's like, I'm not gonna go because
it was the LJN video art.
Nice.
That's what it was. That's what she. It's not what it was, but it might as well be.
Yeah. But yeah, Agent Man decides he's not gonna go study in Massachusetts because reasons.
Because people are all the same wherever you go. You got good people, you got bad people. And then you got Godzilla in the background!
Godzilla wakes up, because of course he did, because he dunked himself in cold water. So the bacteria slowed down again, I guess. And then he starts walking away, and then, like, Pilot Man, who has been so insistent on taking down Godzilla, like looks onward with, like, a wistful look in his eyes. And he gets his stupid hat back. We forgot when he showed up, he was kind of a dork, but he was a dork through the whole thing. And then walks away. Everyone walks away, and it's a happy ending.
And then somebody's like, Godzilla returns to the sea, and Biollante to the air.
Oh yeah, and then it starts to zoom out as the credits go, and then it zooms all the way out to the Earth.
And then I make the joke, I'm like, to be continued in Biollante in space.
And then I didn't see the dust. Did it? Was it actually the dust?
No, I think they just drew a really shitty rose.
And then there's just this fucking rose that appears in space, and we just lost our minds.
And it just hangs on that for the entire credit sequence.
While it plays the fucking Super X2 theme. It's so tonally dissonant, and yet is predicting the future, and we're just like, this is quite possibly one of the dumbest movies we've ever watched.
Oh, it was amazing.
God damn it.
So like I said before, this was one of the first ones that I'd actually seen, and I didn't remember any of this.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but here we are.
Mm-hmm. Holy fucking shit. Okay.
Alright, let's throw numbers at this thing.
Yeah, might as well. Monster Combat. I'm not gonna lie, I was not impressed.
It wasn't great. It was a lot of standing and shooting, and occasionally a tentacle.
It was better than 84 because there was actual monster on Monster Combat. Thus, it must be more than 3. 4?
4's fine.
Yeah.
There was a lot of static shots.
It was a lot of crap. Visual effects.
I think they were really good.
They were pretty solid. Nothing. I mean, other than the image of the dead daughter in the sky, like nothing was glaring.
I feel like that should be like a positive thing.
I mean, but it's positive because it's terrible.
What do we give the special effects for 84?
7.
I'd give this one an 8 then.
Alright. The plot. Jesus Christ. This was hard to follow, but it wasn't like it wasn't like Raids Again where it was hard to follow and it was boring. This was hard to follow because there were so many moving parts and it was moving pretty quickly. And
Pretty quickly for a 2-hour movie.
yeah, and just it was just firing on all cylinders at all times, but it was firing on all cylinders in the way that a 6-cylinder engine would, where it's like we're here, then we're here, then we're here, then we're here, then we're here, and here, and we're just like flying all over the place as we go. So the plot wasn't. It felt. Like if I were to watch it again, it would probably make sense. Like if I could commit all of my focus to it.
Yeah.
But it demands your attention, otherwise you will lose track of what's going on. Which I mean, that's kind of a good thing. It's just there were so many freaking moving parts that it was just like, this is not the type of Godzilla movie I'm used to. I'm used to a Godzilla movie where I can make stupid jokes and still keep track of what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was a whole lot of stuff.
A lot of plot happened. That's one thing I will say. Biollante had a lot of plot. So, I mean, and it wasn't bad plot, it was just a lot of it.
It was like trying to drink out of a fire hose.
It was a rough time. Very rough. I will admit, I think it was a better plot than 84.
I think so.
So, that was a 7.
Alright, give it an 8 again.
Alright, the acting. I don't think the acting was actually, like, I swear to God, the scientist man was awful.
Well, yeah, he was a scientist,
He
not an actor.
couldn't emote for crap.
His daughter was dead and in a plant for 5 years.
But
That kills a man.
Even when he's like, I need to find out if something happened to my daughter, he's like stone-faced.
Yeah.
There's no emotion. And you're just like, dude, it's your daughter. How are you still like, I need to figure out where my daughter is? It's like, dude, a bomb went off. Show some panic.
Look, the bomb had one casualty.
Yeah.
It wasn't a dangerous bomb.
Clearly not. But...
What about the agents?
Agents were fine. I appreciated the agent that actually was like a character. It's just he wasn't that good of a character. He wasn't an Eggman. He wasn't a American guy from Astro Monster. He was like trying for something and just not quite succeeding. And the other agent guy was generic protagonist.
Yeah.
So, and then we had Pilot Man, who, I mean...
He pretended to be asleep once.
Yeah, and looked happy for some reason. He was... I feel like he was supposed to come off as confident, but his voice made him just sound like a teenager.
Yeah.
So that kind of clashed. Yeah.
What do we give 84?
We gave it a 5.
Okay, let's give this one a 4.
Alright.
Because it wasn't, like, egregiously bad. It's just we had one wooden character and then...
Oh, no, we had several wooden characters.
Well, we had one
psychic
main
lady.
wooden character. No, she wasn't supposed to talk to people. She was just supposed to be there and be like, I'm a lift Godzilla. Like, the only, like, I think super egregious guy was the scientist.
Oh, he was god-awful.
Like, he was just a block of wood in a lab coat.
Yep.
Everybody else was tolerable.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Alright, so the dub. There were certain parts of the dub that, like, a lot of the dub was impeccable. And I swear to God, there were at least a couple scenes where lines were being spoken, and then they would stop, and the characters would keep.
Oh yeah, there
flapping
was
their
that one
gums.
scene where they're talking about the bacteria, and the guy is just not moving his mouth at all.
Oh yeah, no, there was that one too. But like, other than that, I felt like the dub didn't take me out of the experience for once.
I'd say it was solid.
So I don't know.
2 or 3, because we gave 84 a 2.
I mean, 3 would be average, I guess, but like we almost never give points to the dub anyway. And we gave points to the dub in 84, I think, because it made things funny.
Well, I'm fine with whatever you decide, so.
I'll just give it a 2. That should be fine. Special mention. I think we both know what's... I mean, there's only one thing that is worth...
I don't know. I think it's a great many things.
A whole lot of it. We'll call it the special sauce.
The Nobel Prize recipe.
Oh. Nobel Prize contribution. Holy shit. That was so much better than the love theme. Although the love theme was hysterical, I'm almost willing to give it 4 points. Just based on it was immediately hilarious, and it
kept fitting.
It had an entry point. Pardon the pun. Like every so often it was just throw it out there. It works. It's funny. It's gross.
Yeah, 4's fine.
All right. So our grand total, this is going to be hopefully 24.
I mean, it should be higher than 84.
Oh, easily. So 16, 20, 24, 26, 30. That doesn't feel quite right.
Yeah.
It feels like this should exceed Astro Monster, but at the same time, maybe it shouldn't.
Well, Astro Monster was like
31.
a genuinely good movie. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like it wasn't good because we were making it funny. It was good because it was good.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel like Biollante was a decent movie. I mean, even 84 was a decent movie. It's just the problem is that they've become less dumb.
Yeah. I think the Biollante's big problem is it was padded to all hell.
Oh god, yeah.
Because this was 20 minutes longer than
most of everything else we've watched. I mean, the nice part is that it was padded, but at the same time, it's like I didn't feel like any scenes were wasteful.
Yeah.
It was just hard to follow because you're like, wait, what does this connect to? And then there was the goddamn, like, cut to a silent volcano erupting in the middle of a conversation. I still don't know what that meant.
That was the show that Godzilla was mad.
It was fucking weird.
Or
But
something.
yeah. I mean, it was a good time. It was like, cause the weird part is that Biollante felt like watching versus Megalon. It just wasn't as consistently fun.
Yeah.
So, I can live with 30.
Yeah, 30's fine. It's
still pretty high.
Yeah, it's higher than literally everything besides 2 movies in the show era.
That is true.
And one of them only got really high ratings because of Jet Jaguar.
True. But, alright, well, thank you for listening to all of this, I hope.
It was a good time. See you next week for Ghidorah.
Yep.